In 1967, the state of Florida passed an act known as the Sunshine Law. This law, as well as many more, gives complete public access to government documents and court proceedings. From this, the country soon learned of a rare and unnatural being found in the murkiest of swamps, a being of pure chaos and terror, the Florida Man. Before this play begins, it has been advised by our own legal team to issue this disclaimer. While the story may be fiction, the crimes described and referenced are based on very, very real crimes. You have been warned.
That's him, officer. That's the man that impersonated an FBI agent and left catfish in my driveway.
He tried to exorcise demons in my store. He broke into my house and cooked himself breakfast.
I just want to yell at everyone else.
Freeze! I'm innocent, I swear. You gotta believe me. Or at least I'm kinda innocent. Let's start at the beginning. Some of you may know me. Not to brag, but I'm a bit of a celebrity around here. People call me lots of things. The Wild Gator, the Agent of Chaos, the Devil Incarnate. I know a guy down in Key Largo who sells exotic turtles who calls me Gator for some odd reason. But the name I'm most fond of is Florida Man. I've lived here in the old Sunshine State for, well, since the sky's been blue. I don't really know how long that's been, but according to this here ID, it's been 28 years. Now that ID there is both fake and expired, so take that as you will. Don't get me wrong, I've done my fair share of crimes and misdeeds, as my detractors like to point out things like, well, what about the time he threw an alligator to drive through a window? But I mean, come on. What else are you going to do on a Thursday afternoon to walk a hoodoo? But I guess the problem is, they finally caught me. Daddy always said my time would come eventually, but then again, he also used to say snake skin TVs were going to be the next big thing.
Listen up, Florida Man. According to federal law, you're allowed one phone call. And according to state law, you're allowed one single orange.
You won't be needing that phone call, Florida Man. Do what you want with the orange.
Really? I was just about to call my mother. She's been upset ever since Brett Michaels took out that restraining order against her.
Who are you?
I'm his lawyer.
It was at this point in my brief jail stint that I met a man that will change my life forever. Meet Jerome Theodore Frederickson Esquire, Jerry for short. At least that's the name you give me. Listen here, fellas, is slicker than a mud wrestling ring at a truck stop. He had all the confidence of someone who could talk themselves out of any situation or conversation, and yet none of the actual ability to do so. Jerry was a legend in the law community for somehow being in this bar 5 times. But I needed all the help I could get.
Alright, so what did they get you on?
I don't actually know. Somehow plotted to destroy the entire state or something.
We had to invent the charge just for you.
How did you even know I was arrested?
I'm insulted. I keep my ears low to the ground looking for wrongfully accused victims of the system. You can even say I have a 6th sense for it. Well, that and I have a police scanner in my review.
Really?
Yeah, of course. I'm one of the best lawyers in this side of the Okefenokee. I've represented all kinds of folks in court, including myself. Now don't worry, buddy. We'll get your case solved in no time. By no time, I mean as soon as you pay me.
I've got about $5 and an orange here.
Good enough for me? I'll take it. Now, on what grounds are you containing my client?
Well,
Okay, well, that could have been... Wait. An alligator and a crocodile. Spider-Man costume? Okay, that's enough. Lord knows I don't want to know how the power washer fit into it.
Wait, where are you going?
Oh, I'm gonna go drink all night and wait for divine inspiration to hit me on some way to save this case. In the meantime, don't cause any trouble. And don't tell the police anything.
And that's how things got really crazy. He pulled some strings and said a whole lot of weird legal mumbo jumbo. And before I knew it, I was a free man.
alright, you're free to go.
Really, I can go. I did it! I avoided consequences once again. I just love the American legal system.
Not quite. We still got to stand trial.
Oh man, thought I had you on that one. For the next few days, me and Joe would spend most of our time trying to make a case for me with my coordinator Rod. In reality, we just ended up sitting outside the 7-Eleven because that was the only place Jerry could find free Wi-Fi from. I often asked Jerry why he was even helping me, to which he responded, "Money!" Instead of finding any good way to defend me, he just kept going on and on about how he was going to be a big famous hot shot for winning the case. So while he went on and on about where he was going to put his mansion,
There! Rod coming from that stupid university that kicked me out for not being an enrolled student. Sober. Was that the other one?
I had to try and get myself out of this thing.
Alright, so we gotta come up with something for your case. Now I think I have a great idea. First, I need to know how much we have for bribe money.
Well, how much will we need?
From my experience, I'd say anywhere between 10 to 30,000, depending on the jury. If they're from Jacksonville, they shouldn't take much. And folks ain't got no morals anyway. But if they're from Orlando, it's gonna leave it a lot harder since they're all angry because they live in a parking lot.
I've got about $20 worth of oranges in my car.
That's not gonna... Wait, how many oranges do we... That's besides the point. The point is, we need to draw up some serious cash for the trial. It's gonna be a hard job. We'll have to meet scary people and see scary things. Possibly even delve into the innermost psyche of our very beings. But I believe, with enough strength and determination, we will win this. We will... Can I help you?
Listen here, man. I'm just doing my job. We gotta get this whole courtroom set up for some trial today. State versus Florida man or something.
Wait, that's today?
How did that even happen?
I mean, something was today.
Oh, what are we gonna do?
All I have on me is a voucher for free gator wrestling in Canopy. You know, with Canopy, the general populace is lack of morals or want for monetary gain. At least not this time around. Guess we're gonna have to go with my plan B. But I'll warn you, maybe my most insane plan yet.
What is it?
Doing it the legal way.
Well, she seems pleasant.
Luckily, she is just a state attorney's assistant, so I'm sure she won't be much of a problem.
How do you know she's an assistant?
Look, when you get as experienced as I am, you just know these things. Now watch as I psych out the competition through a series of clever mind tricks. Howdy there. Name's Jerry. I'm representing my client over there. You know, the world famous Florida man. The scourge of the southeast. The horror of Miami. He who shall not be named. Anyway, I was going to speak to your boss before the trial in a bit. Lawyer to lawyer. I'm sure you understand.
I'm sorry. I'm not quite sure I understand any of what that was.
Look, I'm just asking to see your boss.
My what?
Your boss. You know, the guy you're assisting on this case. The state attorney.
Okay, so I know what the trial is about. That's why I'm here. And furthermore, I'm not an assistant. I am the state attorney.
What? You're the state attorney? But you...
A what? A woman?
No, that's not what I meant. It's just that you're a woman.
You have quite a way with words, don't you?
Jerry, I really don't think this is such a good idea.
Relax. I know what I'm doing. It'll be even easier since she's a she. Now, as I was saying,
Wait a minute. I remember you.
You what?
Yeah, you're the guy who showed up to the bar exam drunk and in a bathing suit. No, and then your suit fell down and they had to drag you out of the exam hall. Like the embarrassment you are.
Well, how'd it go?
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, and this must be the famous accused. I've had quite the experience researching you to build my case.
Oh, most of that stuff is over-exaggerated. There wasn't as many chimpanzees involved in that robbery down in Pensacola as they like to say. This whole thing is a bit much, don't you think? I say we call it a day and go home.
Oh, I'm sorry. You can't. Because you are a menace to society and deserve to be behind bars. Goodbye, gentlemen. I have a job to do, unlike you.
Well, this case just got a lot more complicated than originally expected.
All rise for the Honorable Judge Bud Goodman.
All right, y'all may be seated. Now, before we begin, I'd just like to say, oh, God, it's you? All right, well, I can already tell this is going to go horribly. Just please, no one set a fire or anything. Barely had the funds to repair this place the last time. Just get this over with. Opening statements, please.
Of course. Members of the jury, Judge Goodman, I'd like to ask you to examine inside of yourselves, your life. Now, how much pain and torment was brought upon by this man? This individual cares not for society and chooses to revel in his own chaos and personal gain. Should a man of this nature...
Okay, so what's your opening statement? You got something good, right? They're trying to say I want to destroy the entire state, so please tell me you have something amazing.
All right. You forgot something.
Okay. You'll just have to improvise.
How do I do that?
Well, for starters, you can start off by saying yes and.
Yes, and?
Yeah, I took a class on it once. The teacher only spoke Spanish though, so it sounded more like C-E, but I think our way works too.
All right. Let me just consult my notes real quick.
What is that?
This here's my lawyer and book. And this here is my lawyer and juice. Now, I haven't busted this thing out in a couple years, but I'm sure it's still fine. Just something to help me calm my nerves. See? Told you it was still fine.
And that is why I think Florida man should be considered an enemy of the state. That is all. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, will the defendant please give their opening statement?
Yes, and.
Yes, say what?
Yes! Yes! And my client, he is a man. Man rhymes with, okay. Maybe it was a bit out of date. I don't feel so.
Oh my Lord!
Is he dead? Did I just kill my own lawyer? Oh man, this isn't gonna help my case at all.
He's not dead. He's just passed out. Why is it so hard for you not to cause a scene? Out of all the courts in Florida, you just have to keep showing up at mine.
Sir, it's made impossible.
Do we have to? Well, get him out of my court. We'll just have to reschedule the trial for another day.
Wait, Your Honor! What if, instead of postponing all this, how about I represent myself?
Are you stupid as well as insane?
I've seen him do all that stuff on the TV from Matlock when I used to steal TV signal from my neighbors. I don't see why I couldn't.
Fine, I'll allow it.
On what grounds can you allow this?
Quite honestly, I think whatever he does, it'll be very entertaining to watch.
Great! I've always wanted to be a lawyer since about an hour ago. What am I being charged for again?
Gross conspiracy to destroy the entire state of Florida.
Oh boy. When you say it like that, it sure sounds serious.
It is serious. Unlike this trial, apparently.
Well, let's get this show on the road. Bring out the first witness.
I'd like to call to the stand Old Lady Rosemary.
That's it. Take your time now. We got something important going on.
Oh, hey, get off of me, you raggedy scarecrow. I'm old, but I ain't dead.
So, get your steps. Baby, you're going for hard work.
Touch me, and you will be digging orange right out of your skull.
Alright, we just gotta get you sworn in and then the prosecution.
What, we just swear? Well, shoot. Glad someone gave me permission to now. I just learned a new one from the kid down at the Dixie. I think it went something like this.
No. Not swearing. Sworn in.
Oh, right.
Wait for him above and repeat after me.
I promise not to lie or whatever. Tell the truth or my mama gonna burn in hell.
No, that's
Good enough for me. Prosecution may proceed.
Mrs. Rosemary, do you recognize this man?
Well, my eyesight ain't what it used to be, but that's either my son-in-law or that no good, mud-sucking, slimy catfish of a man, Florida man. Either way, I'm not too fond of looking at them.
Now, would you please describe the events that transpired between you two?
Sure, it happened just like this. I had just got done watching my stories and preparing for bed when I heard a ruckus downstairs. My first thought was that them possums were back. So I grabbed my possum bat. Yep. Use this bad boy to throw out people I don't like much. Which is most people. Anyway, I was creeping along real quietly, so as not to spook this intruder. And when I knew I got him right where I wanted, I lifted up my bat real high.
No way, I can't explain.
And I whispered, and I gave him a good smack. He started stabbling around like a bug on its back. So naturally, I hit him. Oh my God!
How horrifying.
And that ain't all. I bashed that no good fella feet in the hand so good, I hit him. Couldn't hardly move the next morning till old Doc came by with my medicine.
As you can see, this poor woman was struck with fear and received so much pain from this horrid encounter. This so-called man had the audacity to try and rob a seemingly defenseless poor old woman. If he would harm this sweet lady, who wouldn't he harm?
Your Honor, I wasn't there to rob no one. Me and Rosemary been living across from each other for years. I just thought it was my house, and I lost my keys. I had to get in because I was going flamingo fishing in the morning, and I lost my fishing lines.
You were doing what?
Well, you catch a fresh flamingo and get about half pound of 10-day-old meat, you grind it all together and
I'm
western.
sorry.
That'll be all, Mrs. Rosemary.
Alright, please bring out the next witness.
That'll be my pleasure, Your Honor. I call to stand Kyle Grisdale.
Alright, Bailey, do the thing or whatever.
Do you, Mr. Grisdale, swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
If it gets me out of here fast.
Now, Kyle, could you describe to the court the certain circumstance that led you to meet my client?
You mean you?
Look, I'm trying to be professional here.
Well, it was about 2 years ago. I was a computer science major in Tallahassee. and it was miserable. But then one day, I went to the gas station, and there he was, running out of there with about $100 worth of iced coffee in his jeans. And I watched as all that coffee poured out, and I thought to myself, wow, what a screw up. That's the kind of guy you point to and say, at least I'm not him. It was only later I learned from my well-inebriated neighbor that this guy's name was Florida Man. I was just feeling so good from the scene of pure incompetence that I thought to myself, wow, I gotta preserve this. I gotta create some sort of database for this so I can always feel better about myself by putting down those around me. And so it began. I created such hit sites such as GoFloridaManGo.org, CatchThatFloridaMan.com, and the hit phone app Florida Man Near You.
Well, thank you for that.
And the best part is, he understands so little about copyright law that I've made millions off his name and didn't pay him a cent.
Now, well, you what? Never mind. I have a few more questions that I think the jury will find quite elevated to me from the supposed monster I made out to be. Kyle, do you think that my client is a creature of pure evil?
Absolutely not. He's too stupid.
Do you think that my client is a monster bent on destroying the entire state of Florida?
Not at all.
Well, there you have it, folks.
Permission to cross-examine the witness?
Permission granted.
I think you're lying. I think you want to see him get away with this to fill your own pockets.
That just sounds like the talk of someone who doesn't make millions off the exploitation of the mentally ill.
Adjective, Your Honor! She's weaseling the witness!
First of all, objection. Second of all, do you mean badgering?
Here.
Oh,
Well, ignoring that, I have just one more question.
And that is
How many times have you been charged with perjury?
8.
A little louder for the jury, please.
8, but that's taken completely out of context.
And what is the proper context?
If I had told the truth, I would have been sent to prison.
Your Honor, let the court show. This is a completely understandable excuse.
But he lied. Under oath, no less.
So?
So, and that's a crime. Tell me he's lying now.
Well, I don't believe he is. Kyle, are you lying?
Nope.
See? Do you have any evidence that he isn't telling the truth?
I don't think she does.
I think she's getting mad.
I think it's because you're outlawing her.
Okay, whatever. I'm done.
thank you for your insight, Mr. Grisdale. There'll be an orange waiting for you out in the lobby. All right, next witness, please.
I'd like to call my final witness to the stand.
And that would be...
Oh, I think you know quite well who I'm referring to. This is someone with great importance to Florida Man's life. Someone of almost equal instability who has been reformed by the legal system. A person who...
Okay, we get it.
I'd like to call to the stand Florida Woman! Holy crap!
Wait, you can't mean... How is that even possible? I thought you died.
What? I didn't die. I just got caught is all.
Now, Florida Woman,
Actually, could you use my real name? I've been trying real hard to move on from all this.
of course. Now, Grace,
Grace?
could you please describe your relationship with the accused here?
Well, I guess you could say we dated. Most of that time we spent with us doing some pretty wild things. Like that time with all the alligators we let out of the NASCAR race. Or the time we took all those pythons to the space station because we want to make a snake farm on the moon. Oh, and that time we drove a speedboat down the log ride at Disney. We were a pretty formidable team back in the day.
Indeed. Well, is it true that this isn't your first time in court?
Yes, ma'am. I was in court when I got arrested. When I had all those chickens in my backyard and
Try to get them arrested like they do on TV. Last question. Is it true that you threatened several deputies with a lighter propane tank?
Sadly, yes. I was in a real bad place. Fort Lauderdale?
Indeed you were. Members of the jury, Judge Goodman, this woman is guilty for these crimes and many more. She used to be a menace to our society, just as Florida is now. But she has changed. She served her time and is all the better for it. Grace here is my shining example as to why this man should be behind bars, so that he may hopefully become a more well-adjusted citizen and not ruin our perfectly fine state any longer, or just rot in his cell forever. I'm personally okay with whatever at this point.
Permission to cross-contaminate.
Cross-examine.
Yeah, sure, that thing. What happened to you? This is not at all how you used to be.
Well, I changed. Remember when I stole that pizza van?
Of course I do. Jimmy said you crashed and done exploded.
Right. Well, Jimmy was also blind. So here's what really happened.
Have we forgotten that we're in court? Have we dropped having an ounce of pretense of decorum left?
Shush. This is the most compelling drama I've seen since Shakespeare the Swan. You English, I'm so sorry for the English.
In the days leading up to that night, I'd begun to feel this emptiness inside of me. I thought for a while I was hungry or just had scurvy or something. No, this emptiness was more emotional. I read a book about brain stuff at the library, and it wasn't easy. The words were kind of big. It turns out I have me one of them exponential processes.
Existential?
Sure, why not? Anyway, I was pretty shaken up about all that. So I went out to blow off some steam, in the usual way, of course. I stole that pizza van and I started driving. And I just kept driving and driving. I didn't know where I was going or what I was doing, but I knew I needed to go faster and faster and faster and faster until wham! I ended up right in the middle of some poor soul's bedroom. I couldn't really see or move much, but I could hear the owner of that house run around screaming things like, "But I just bought this house!" And "How do you drive a car through the third-story window?" But I wasn't paying attention to all that. I was staring at my reflection in the broken windshield wondering, is this who you want to be? Are you happy like this? But before I could figure any of that out, I was drugged away by officers and pretty soon charged with destruction of property and grand theft.
Then what happened?
I did my time. A few years gave me a lot to think about. I changed my name and I got a job after I apologized for trying to park a tractor in the cereal aisle. Worked real hard and I bought a house. Now I'm doing just fine.
Reading books, getting a job, a house, all that stuff is confusing enough as it is. What I don't understand is why.
Why what?
Why you never told me? How come you never talked to me about it?
I tried. I was afraid you'd suppress that in me. You'd never let me be happy.
You thought I was going to drag you down with me, didn't you?
Look at you, poor man. You've been doing the same stuff for years. And where's it gotten you? You don't even have a real name.
Well, at least I still know who I am.
Look, I didn't mean to come here as a bad guy. When he asked me to testify in court, I thought I could help you. And if you work with us here, we can get you some real help, and you can be a real person.
What if I doesn't want to be a person?
Then you're being childish. Look at you, Florida man. You've been driving this van for years. Now the engine's failing, the sun's setting, and it's running out of gas. You've been hurting people for too long. Heck, we've been hurting people for too long.
Do you really think I'm trying to destroy Florida?
I don't think you're meaning to. If you don't stop, you will.
Yes, you're right. Could have gone forever, right? The sun really is setting, ain't it?
Yes, but remember, a new one always rises again.
When does that happen?
When you let it.
Oh my God. Did that just work? Did I just win this case?
That was... Wow.
Well, I think I know what my verdict is.
Wait!
What is the meaning of this?
I have new information that will make this an open and shut case.
Why did you bring up the witnesses?
Oh, Rosemary here was whacking a broken parking meter, and Kyle's been listening behind the door the entire time.
What? It's good stuff.
Jerry, there's no need. Maybe they're right, and I should just give up. I think I'm done here.
Jeez, I step out for 1 minute and you guys have completely warped his mind.
They ain't warped nothing. They showed me the truth. I think it's time I give it all up.
Don't talk like that, kid. We live in America.
What does that have to do with any of it?
Because in America, we can believe anything we want to. It is our God-given right to be dug in and never question any of our beliefs. No matter how much science or statistic junk your opponent throws at you, when the going gets tough, you just gotta scream your opinion louder than the other person until you both get tired and go home. That's what this beautiful country of ours was founded on.
Where is this going? I've got to get back to my stories by 4.
I'm glad you asked, Rosemary. Let me show y'all. Now that you're all here, let me tell y'all a story. After passing out from drinking 15-year-old paint thinner, I had an epiphany. I woke up to several paramedics pumping my stomach, and I jumped right out of that ambulance, gathered all these fine fellas, and came here to tell y'all what I learned while traveling through the subconscious ether realm. Well, what did you learn? You all think that Florida Man is a menace, right?
Yeah.
All he does is revel in his own chaos and slowly degrade this okay state of ours.
Absolutely.
Then ask yourselves, wasn't it just a little bit enjoyable?
What?
Think about it. How many of you love tuning into the news to see what insanity my friend here causes? How many of you love sharing stories to your friends about all the crazy mishaps Florida Man pulls?
But what about the witnesses? The people I've brought in are just a small portion of the personal and financial injury he has caused.
That is a fair point. Then ask yourself, wasn't it just a teeny bit fun?
Fun?
Yeah. What was everybody doing before all that happened?
Going about their lives being upstanding citizens.
See? I couldn't imagine a more boring time.
Well, what about poor Mrs. Rosemary? She hurt her hip in that break-in.
I never said I hated the experience. Come to think of it, it felt good. Everyone thinks I'm just some old bag of bones who can't take care of herself. But when I beat the living daylights out of that boy, I felt younger than I felt in years. And sometimes my hip don't really hurt. I just like complaining.
Gee, thanks, you old hag. Well, what about Grace here? She had a miserable life because of him.
I don't know what you're talking about. If it hadn't been for Florida Man, she would have never found herself. He showed her who she wanted to be, and I can't think of a nicer dude than that.
Wow. I guess I never really thought of it like that.
Well, what about Kyle?
I was always on his side.
Oh, right.
So, I'm confused. You're saying that I'm not a bad guy?
Absolutely. You put our little state on the map. If it hadn't been for you, well, we would have ended up like other 49 foreign states. Like Georgia. Florida hasn't had more attention since Disney World opened.
It's true. All the sites I think get a ton of traffic. You're a national legend.
But it's bad press. Everything they're saying is negative.
Haven't you ever heard the saying, there's no such thing as bad publicity?
I can't believe it. I'm like some kind of hero.
Well, hero's a strong word. I'd say more of a necessary force of nature.
I've been called worse.
Well, this trial has been quite interesting. Give you that. Ah, hell, I'm getting fired after today anyway. Florida Man, I'm dropping all charges. You're free to go.
Worse.
Or it is, or I'll send you to jail for contempt of court.
I can't believe it. I'm a free man. And people seem like they might even start tolerating me now.
I'm looking for Mr. Fredrickson.
I guess word of my fantastic legal advice is getting around. I'm already getting approached by fans.
Actually, no. I called them. That's the one, officer. He's the one impersonating a lawyer.
I'm sorry, I'm afraid we're gonna have to take you in until we can find some verification of your legal status.
There is no need. I happen to have all my documentation on hand for such an occasion.
Huh. This is far more than enough. I'm sorry for the accusation, sir.
It's alright. Happens all the time.
You have a wonderful day, Dr. Frederickson.
Doctor! We hereby grant, by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and Harvard University.
What?
You have a doctor in law? A licensed brain surgeon? A Purple Heart recipient? A Nobel Peace Prize winner?
Sure. Why wouldn't I be?
Okay. That's it. I am moving as far away as I can from this place tonight.
That girl has no idea all those are fake, does she?
I would have thought that picture of me and Kennedy shaking hands with Neil Armstrong and Tim Tebow would have tipped her off. Guess not. I told you I knew what I was doing.
Jerry, I can't thank you enough.
That's what all this is about. Helping out the little man.
No, really. How can I ever repay you?
Well, I could use a trip back to the hospital. When I jumped out of that ambulance, I landed on a few cars and my ribs are broken.
You don't need a hospital. I know a guy down in Pigeon Key. He can patch you right up. Well, his success rate isn't that great, but what can you expect from a guy with one leg and one eye? Come on.
What about... I just want to apologize.
There's no need. I don't blame you for what you did. You needed to find your own path. And you did. I guess we all have our own paths. The ones closest to us help us find them.
But I was wrong about you, though. Your son ain't sitting. And Ralph looks everybody leaving. I'd say it's never been higher.
I guess they call it the Sunshine State for a reason.
Poor man, get over here. I got big news.
Well, I guess I better be going.
I better get going, too.
Goodbye, Grace.
Hey, instead of goodbye, how would I see you later?
I don't like that.
You can have your emotional ending some other time. I got better news.
Well, what is it?
Yeah, what got you in such a buzz?
So I just got off the phone with some very important people, and I got big news.
Which is?
So, while I was listening in on the trial, I wrote it down. Called a guy I knew in LA, big movie producer, and I just sold the rights to the first Florida Man movie.
Are you serious?
Yep, studio loves it. Michael Bay's already trying to get directing rights.
Wow, that's fantastic. I guess you're headed off then.
Me, try we. I told the studio that there's one man who can play Florida Man.
Who is that?
You! Gentlemen, we're going to Hollywood.
I'm gonna be on a big screen.
Know that you're going to be a big-time actor. You could use some legal representation, you know, contracts and stuff. I'm always happy to help.
I got a plane set to leave tonight.
Shoot, I better get packing then.
Look, I guess I'll meet up with you guys later. There's one more thing I gotta do. So, there you have it. We're going on to film the movie. I can't wait to be on a big screen. I can get that famous autograph from Tom Cruise my mother always wanted. Well, anyway, thanks for listening to my story. I hope I made you laugh. It's that much more interesting. And look out for me in them headlines, because I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. One more thing. Do you know if it's legal to keep piranhas in a styrofoam cooler? No? I guess I'll find out.